I almost fell there. Sorry about that. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on my pathway to podiatry. Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the 2-part Q&A that I am doing. It's a 2-part Q&A just because I got a lot of questions and I wanted to make sure that I answered every single one that I received. So if you personally asked me a question and it was not posted in the last Q&A, if you haven't seen that, by the way, go ahead and check it out. If I did not answer your question in the last Q&A, I will be answering it in this video, so stay tuned. In like 30 seconds, I'll be starting it up. I just want to make sure that you know that you should hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and turn on your post notifications if you want to know when I have posted. As soon as I make that video public, you will be notified just by pressing that little ding button. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Let's get right into it. Next question, how many semesters do you need to take before becoming a professional and start working? You do undergrad, which is 4 years, or it varies for people. You can finish early, you can finish after the 4 years. I finished my bachelor's in 4 years. And in this program, it's very set on, like every semester is made out. Like it's not like you choose different classes to take during different semesters. Everybody in the class moves forward as a class. So my first year, it was 2 semesters, and then every year after that we'll have a summer, fall, and spring semester. So we finish in 4 years, and if you, for example, weren't to pass one class and you couldn't like remediate, take the exam, and like move on with the class, you would have to literally wait the entire year to continue with the class behind you. So that's how set on the schedule is. Basically, like every class is a prereq for the next class. So it's not like you can like fall behind and still move on. You have to literally pass every single class. So my program is 4 years long, and I will graduate with a doctorate. Before I can practice as a podiatrist, I need to complete my 3-year residency. So it's not till I finish and then I do my residency that I can become a podiatrist, technically. I hope that answers the question. Next question. What's the best study method for remembering a lot of information? The best study method, it depends on the class. Sometimes using flashcards works. Sometimes just looking at PowerPoints works. The commonality between all those study methods is being able to recall information. Sometimes talking in a group works, and just remembering a conversation can help you remember like a certain detail or something like that. But being able to recall the information, whether it be writing it on a board, whether it be getting asked the questions, when you can recall it, it's like another level of memorization, because you're not just memorizing like certain information, like you actually understand and comprehend to be able to respond when it's asked to you in a question type. So that's what's helped me remember things, is being able to recall them. Next question, what's been your favorite class? Anatomy for sure has been my favorite. Whether it had been gross or lower extremity, anatomy was my favorite, or is my favorite so far. How do you cope with annoying professors? LOL question mark. That was another classmate. To me, I guess I look at it as like a challenge to myself. If a professor wants to ask things in a difficult way and then I end up doing well, I just applaud myself. I'm like, wow, I got through that. I look at it as a challenge. If I can get through it, if I can get through difficult professors, hooray to me, my friend. That's my answer. I got a question saying, do you get summer and winter holidays off in podiatry school? I do. In winter, December, so far last year, I got a month off. This year coming up, I'll get another month off. And holidays, yes, we do get holidays off. Does it cost extra to do the dual DPM MBA program at Barry? Yes, it does. You basically pay the tuition for the podiatry school, and you pay tuition for the MBA program. The programs require different courses that require different fees, like tuition fees. So you end up paying both. But yes, if you wanted to take out loans, you would be able to take out loans for both programs. Another question, how do you get through physiology without choking your professor? You guys can now tell that physiology is among the top most difficult courses because a lot of my classmates are asking about that. Yeah. I got a question saying, how much do podiatrists make? I have seen a lot of different numbers depending on the source. I'm not really sure. It depends on the location how much a podiatrist would make. A fun tool, I'll put the link right here. It's salary.com. You can kind of see the average. I don't know how reliable the website is, but you can see the average of a salary and bonuses depending on the location, depending like on the city, the state, things like that. In different states, it'll change. In different cities, it'll change. I know last time I checked, like the top highest paying was like in Hawaii and California. But yeah, I've used that tool, but I don't know again like how reliable it is. I know I have mentioned this and I will be making a video on my experience as an anesthesia tech, but real quick, I got a question saying, how were you able to get a job as an anesthesia tech with no experience? In fact, how do you get a job in the hospital, period? I have been trying and am unsuccessful every time. Please do share how you were successful in doing so. So I did have experience before getting my job as an anesthesia tech. I was working as a secretary in the PACU. That helped me get my foot in the door. A hospital always has their job postings on a website. So I would search, and usually the per diem positions are like easier to get, and they're even more comfortable because you work when you're available or when they need you. Like if they need you and you're available, you can take the shift. That's kind of what per diem is. And then you can slide into like part-time, and you could slide into like full-time, which is what I did. I went from per diem to full-time because a position was opened while I was training for per diem. You apply, and not only do you apply, but you try to get in contact, like you call and you get in contact with the human resources or something like that. You just keep asking like, hi, I was just wondering like what my status was on my application. You get called for an interview, you go and interview, always give a thank you letter, handwritten or email immediately after, and you always call to follow up on the status of your application. I had the advantage that my parents have been working in the hospital since I was little. They've always worked in the hospital, and I've grown up in the hospital. Like I would go to their job, people would know my face. But even starting off, you have to get people familiar with who you are. Volunteering at first. Not all experience for a hospital job have to be hospital type experiences. Like I've never volunteered in the hospital before working in the hospital. Just as long as you can translate or transfer the qualities that you gain, you can always use in your advantage. If you possess the qualities and they transfer to what you would need in a job in the hospital, it doesn't hurt to mention. I got another question for recommendations on what materials to use for boards, for podiatry specifically. I personally have not started studying for my boards. I will be taking them next summer. The third years currently in my school just finished taking their boards. They just finished that whole process. So I still need to talk to some of them to see what works for them. I know it went well for a lot of them. Congratulations to you all. I've heard from the grapevine so far that they would use USMLE, Sketchy, those type of resources. I'm so sorry, I'm not very well educated on those resources yet. Hopefully I am soon because I need to be, and I can make a video on that. I also was asked, what classes did you take your first year and textbooks that helped you? I didn't really use textbooks for any classes except for physiology and anatomy. I used Netter's Atlas. I used BRS for physiology. It helped me, like it helped simplify the material a lot and helped me understand it the most. I didn't really use textbooks much, but someone else might use textbooks a lot to study. That's why I say people have different like study habits. For every single course that we had required textbooks or recommended textbooks, and it would be listed for each course in the syllabus. courses. So if you come to Berry, you'll see which textbooks you would need. I'm pretty sure any school would tell you which textbooks to follow, but those two textbooks were the most helpful for me, and BRS wasn't even required for physio. Those conclude today's questions for today's Q&A. I would love to do this again, so if you guys would want this again with new questions, just comment down below. I'll probably do one in the near future with new questions. I hope that I answered these questions in a way that was beneficial to those who asked. If you enjoyed, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and share with your friends and comment down below. You know the dizzle deal. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.